Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here with a Get Sketchy with Christy and Rachel episode. This layout was fun and different, and I had a lot of fun with it. So the point of the sketch was to use like a pie chart type of thing. I did start out with it like that. I went through I have a nice stack of 6x6 pads that I've just had, and they're from all different ones, and I went through them all and just tore out the pieces I thought I would like. And so I had that in my stash, and I just kind of rambled through that and grabbed pieces that had like pink and grayish colors so that I could use that photo of myself from back in 2012 or 2011, I believe. And I just kind of went with it, and then I was trying to make it work. I knew I wanted to back it with this awesome script piece of 6x6, and I have a hard time using script. Do you remember when that was really popular about maybe summer of last year, maybe spring of last year, and everyone was doing that really cool script? I could never do it. I couldn't fit it on my layouts and work with my taste in how I scrapbook. But I really wanted to use it, and I was determined. And I was also determined to use this piece of tissue paper that I had done some mixed media on, not on purpose. I was doing something else, and I had a whole bunch of leftovers, so I just kind of dipped it in the tissue paper to see what it looked like, and I kind of really loved the effect that it had. And so I'm going to just use that. So what happens is, instead of seeing the script, it just is kind of a little added dimension to the background for my photo. I then am still kind of debating on how I want to make this layout work, what I'm thinking. I kind of looked at the sketch once, saw that it was a pie chart, and then never looked at the sketch again. That's how I worked with it this time. A lot of times I follow the sketch pretty closely. This one, I know it looks a bit like the sketch, but I just looked at it once and then went from there. I knew that I kind of wanted to have a soft background without it being white. I've been doing a lot of white backgrounds lately, and I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So I grabbed this piece of Amy Tangerine, and it is from her Stitch collection. And though I love the back, which has all those pretty hearts and it's gray, and it was one of my all-time favorite pieces from that collection, this piece with the kind of it's almost a teal, not teal, a creamsicle colored. I really love it. So, and I love that it said love, love, love at the bottom, and I decided that was the piece I'm going to use. I then just happened to pull out this doily that I had gotten from Caddy in a really cool goodie bag she sent me, and it fit perfectly over there. So I'm like, okay, I like that. I'm going to cover up my pattern paper and just have it kind of peek through a little bit so there's some color, but it'll blend a little bit better. And then I thought it would be really fun to use my new color that I got from Michaels, and it is the same color as, it's like that creamsicle orange reddish color. I'm not even sure what to call it. Maybe coral, a really dark coral. And I just kind of took the tip from the nozzle and I just made a bunch of circles, and I really love the way that turned out. I was so scared to do it because I love that piece of pattern paper so much. I didn't want to ruin it, so I was happy that it turned out the way I wanted it to, instead of having to like trash that whole piece of paper just because of that. So that worked well, and I really love the way it turned out. And then I braved some washi tape. If you have seen some of my latest episodes, I've kind of talked about how washi and I are not the best of friends. I have a very hard time using it. I don't know why. It's beautiful and I want to use it all the time, but I can't ever seem to make it fit on my layout. But I was able to grab this little piece, and it was from the Pink Paisley C'est La Vie collection. It's just a very thin black and white stripe, and it fit perfectly, so I just used that to kind of help enhance the title that I'm using. Super simple title, just called Back Thin. This photo is just kind of talking about how this photo was one of the very last photos I ever took while living at home. When I was 19, I moved out, and I had a roommate for a year, and then I moved again and had another roommate. Actually, you know what? I lied. I stayed home for longer than that. I moved out when I was 20 and turning 21. That's correct. And then, so I had 2 years of roommates, decided that I was kind of over the roommate thing, moved back home as my parents were traveling a lot, so they weren't home anyways, so it was more like I was house sitting for them for about a year a year and a half to 2 years, I believe. And then I finally was like, nope, they started to stay home a little more, so I was ready to be on my own. And I got a little tiny apartment all on my own, and I lived there for a year. And during that year, I met Sean, and then, of course, moved up to Canada. And it's kind of a long story, but I just kind of wanted to document how this was kind of the last photo of me before being completely independent and that big step away from your parents. I know it's something I'm kind of bridging that gap where I grew up in the generation, especially where I was, that it was normal to stay home with your parents longer than to move out right away to kind of save money and go to school and all of that. I'm kind of right at the very beginning of that gap. So I did stay home a little bit longer than I know a lot of people did, but nowadays people stay at home until they're like 26. It's crazy. I didn't stay home that long, and I did have my fun of moving out, but I decided it was time to finish that and live on my own. And that year on my own was so much fun. I had got to have a whole little place to myself, and I just kind of decorated all the time. Like, I rearranged my furniture all the time, and it was just a lot of fun, and it was a great learning experience. And I think it was something that helped me when it was time for Sean and I to live together, and it just kind of was, I had that time alone, and now I'm ready to live with someone for the rest of my life. So it was really fun, and it's just a little, I mean, it's a big story, but it's a little thing, and I really wanted to document it. And that took out almost the entire layout. So I'm sorry about that big long explanation. You see, I did little bits and pieces, did some tucking. I love to do little layers behind my photos. I am in the process of using up as much of my supplies as possible so that I can get new stuff, but not only that, I'm also kind of condensing my scrap space. I currently scrap in, it's kind of like our dining area, but I'm going to be changing that into my son's play area, as now that he's getting older, he needs some more room besides just his bedroom. He needs somewhere else he can play as well. So I am trying to use as much up as possible, and I did pretty good with this one. I used a lot of little bits and pieces. And I finally used a piece of chipboard with the floral, and I cut it in half, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. It kind of helped although I love the way that the cluster handmade was starting, it still needed a little bit of added something there, texture or color or something, and that piece of chipboard with the floral really helped kind of pop it up. So I really love the way that looks as well. I did do some hidden journaling about everything I was talking about because I wasn't sure where I was going to put this on the layout without making it a little, it's already busy, so I didn't want to make it any more busy. And one thing that I really love, and this is not normally something I would do because it's a little busy, but I really like it, is I added a bunch of awesome little kind of doilies, but in the paper form and just in 3 places. And then of course I'm going to add some more sprinkles. I used the color that I used to do the circle around the big white doily, and then of course I used some gold Heidi Shine. And while I was doing that, I was definitely singing the Adele song, so thanks for that, Adele. And with that, it's going to wrap up my layout. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Bye!